Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Really spicy drop for today. We have the reveal for our second Mul Charmy hand trap card revealed early this morning. Honestly, I was thinking about going over the new Mimighoul cards, but since they're not officially released, I'll say that for a little bit later. This is actually pretty big anyway, considering Mul Charmy is one of these new pretty hype hand traps getting introduced to the game. So I'm actually excited to go over this and see how different this one is from Purulia. So let's get into it. This one is clearly like bird based. Like this one's clearly supposed to be like a little ice bird, water bird. He's pretty cute. This is Mul Charmy Fuaros. This is a level 4 wind wing beast. Funny enough, that's definitely got synergy with some other stuff. Here we go. You can only activate one other Mul Charmy monster effect the turn you activate this effect. Okay, so you can use this and Purulia in the same turn. If you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card, apply these effects this turn. Same thing as Purulia, basically. Just have to have no cards on field, and you discard it. Cool. Each time your opponent special summons a monster or monsters from the deck and or extra deck, immediately draw one card. Woo! Once, during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck so the number in your hand equals the number your opponent controls plus 6. Okay, this is pretty interesting, right? Honestly, these cards are very similar. They have basically the exact same design, except for one key piece. That one key piece is the fact that Fuaros is based on whenever your opponent special summons from deck or extra deck, you draw a card, whereas Purulia is focused on when your opponent saw normal or special summons from hand, you draw a card. This one seems better, if I'm not insane. There are certain matchups, sure, like everybody joked about how Fluandereeze is screwed now because this, Fluandereeze played perfectly around Maxi, but never played perfectly around Purulia. This card, kind of same thing. You never really summon from the deck or from extra deck in Flu, so this card's basically dead versus them. That being said, a couple of those kind of mid matchups we've talked about before are a little bit better here. You talk about like Snake Eye. They want to summon from deck off of Snake Eye Ash. They want to summon off of deck off of Original Sinful Spoils. They want to summon from deck with potentially Oak. You don't always use Oak summon from deck effect, but if Ash gets negated, a lot of times that's the only access you have to Flamberge. And then not only that, then you factor in every time you summon from the extra deck. Usually you take Poplar into a Link 1, then you take multiple monsters later on with Flamberge into a Link 2. That doesn't even include going into Promethean Princess and Reborning stuff. This card, I think overall, is actually better than Purulia, just because it includes the extra deck. The summon from deck thing isn't going to be as relevant, but think about every deck that you can play right now that's pretty relevant. How many of those decks not even summon from deck, but just extra deck? You have to go into, even the decks that play a little bit more mid-rangey, summon from extra deck, multiple times. Though this is still going to be matchup-based, and it's a hard-going second card, so I still think it's going to have a similar role to Purulia. Not much main deck play here, but I do think, as a side deck card, that this one has an even higher ceiling versus more matchups than I think Purulia does. Purulia may be overall a slightly safer option, maybe? I feel like they're similar in terms of safety. I mean, there can be matchups like Voiceless Voice, sort of, where not really summoning from deck, not really going into the extra deck that much. So there can be matchups like that deck where this card's not great. But if we're talking about a side deck card anyway, it's sure. We just don't have something else for Voiceless Voice, but it's going to apply to most of the other decks that are good in any given format. Pretty interesting, for sure. Even just Fiendsmith. Think about just Fiendsmith as being the most played package going forward. They need to summon Requiem. They usually summon Sequentia. They usually use Sequentia to summon, or not Sequentia. Sequentia the Link 2 or the Fusion, the level 6 Fusion? I can't remember. I mixed them up. No, I think Sequentia's the Link 2 and Lacrimosa is the Fusion 6. They need to summon at least those 3, and then if they're summoning Lacrimosa, they're probably making a rank 6 with Lacrimosa and Fiendsmith Engraver. So just using the Fiendsmith engine, you go into the extract 4 times, which is kind of insane. So yeah, I think this card's real. I think in a similar way to Perulia. Very interesting, honestly. And also, like, still, they have this same condition on it, too, where you can only activate one other Mul Charmy effect in the same turn. Is there a world where they actually build this out to, like, be an actual full-on strategy, almost Psy-Frame-esque, where, like, it's a deck full of hand traps? Maybe they give them other Mul Charmy monsters that, like, actually, like, push a game plan rather than just being generic draw hand traps. We'll have to see where they go, but very, very cool nonetheless. Honestly, interesting card. I think this is another form of a more balanced Max C, for sure, because this really can scare your opponent out of going too hard into like a super like combo oriented like extra deck based strategy. Right, just like I said, like Fiendsmith Snake Eye. Like if they're summoning 4 times with Fiendsmith, if they open it before they even get to the Snake Eye stuff, and I already talked about how Snake Eye can be giving you 4 to 5 draws on its own at least. You know what I mean? Like you're just gonna draw infinite hand traps, and as long as you've got Veilers and Imperms and 9 once per turn stuff, you might be able to cook them. Now we're a ways away, and we'll see if Fiendsmith is hit hard enough on the ban list by the time Rage of the Abyss is coming out anyway, but this is definitely another card that kind of gets... This is going to be a generic bomb card for the set. This is definitely going to be chased after, I think, by a good amount of people. Pretty solid side deck option going forward. But anyway, I'm out of here for today. I've spent enough time talking about one random card that got dropped this morning, but I'm quite surprised by it. I'm quite impressed by it, and... I'll keep you up to date with anything else news. Maybe later today I might come back and do the Mimigold cards early before they're like officially announced. But we'll see. I'll see what I have time for. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts down below on this card. Is it better? Is it worse than Perulia? Is it similar but different? Let me know your thoughts down below, because that last one's kind of where I land on it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm out of here for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.